Chapter 41. The Story of Cunning Parivrajaka. Sri Bhaskar Shastri told us that Sripada Sri Vallabha was the combined form of Mahasaraswati, Mahalakshmi, Mahakali and Rajarajeshwari. Sripada's Devi Tattvam will be understood only by people doing Anushtanam. I asked Bhaskara Shastri, I have heard that there are 4 types of speech, Aspara, Pashyanti, Madhyama and Vaikhari. Please let me know their explanation. Bhaskara Shastri said, Ambika gets expressed with all types of speech. She will speak through every person. The speech that is heard outside is called gross speech. The speech not heard outside but seen as a movement of lips is called Madhyama. The speech more subtle than this Madhyama is called Vaikhari speech. The speech starts in the neck and comes up to the throat. Staying there in the middle without coming out and moving in the mind only is called Pashyanti speech. More subtle speech than this and remaining in the umbilicus without expression and remaining in the will only is called Para speech. Ambika also is worshipped as Tripura Bhairavi. She is the presiding mother of the traits of 3 gunas, Sattva, Rajas, Tamo, 3 Jagats, 3 Murtis, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwar, and 3 states, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, and all other traits. She will be ruling the Triputis as Puratrayam, 3 worlds. Having devotion, if we completely surrender to her, we will not be harmed when encountered with enemies from this world or unseen worlds. The enemy powers need not be only related to the physical world. We have different identities related to prana. Physical, mental and spiritual aspects are related to Antaratma. There are different worlds also accordingly. If we develop enough, we can live in those worlds also as we are living in this physical world. If a man wants to progress, he should have devotion and stable confidence. Devotion means acceptance with complete belief. Confidence will come with experience only. We have to live on the basis of confidence only. We should always have confidence that help will certainly come whenever needed. If we have a sense of security along with confidence, it is called self-confidence. Gnanam without Shakti will lead to complacence. Shakti without Gnanam will be blind and leads to destruction. So we have to get liberated from the bonds of Prakriti by means of Gnana. After that, we should achieve wholesomeness by the grace of Shakti. Shakti should get permission from Gnanam. In the Sankhya path, Chaitanyam is called Purusha. The thing which does karma is called Prakriti. In the lower planes, there will be contradictions between these two. Chaitanyam will not do any karma. Prakriti has no Gnana. When these two meet, creation occurs. Both have handicap. Chaitanyam is lame, Prakriti is blind. To indicate that there are lameness and blindness in this world, Sripada's one brother was born blind and other brother was born lame. They symbolically indicate that Chaitanyam is lame and Prakriti is blind. In the higher planes, Chaitanyam and Prakriti are called Ishwar and Ishwari. There is no contradiction here between them. When proper yoga period and yoga time came, Sripada removed his brother's lameness and blindness. He did that as an indication to his grand program of removing blindness and lameness in the world. Chaitanyam and Prakriti are also called Brahman and Maya in the transcendental plane. At the age of 16, he left the house and family, became detached and went for roaming. That indicates that he himself is Brahman as well as Maya. Maya is the power which causes limits to the limitless Brahman. His birth in Petikapuram indicates that he worked with limits, surrendering to the power of Maya, though he was an unlimited Brahmaswarupa. It also indicates that after 16 years, he would not be prisoner to Maya and he would be the limitless Brahmaswarupa. In lower planes, Prakriti appears very strong. To indicate this, arguments and counter-arguments and some form of troubles created by certain situations were seen in Sripada's Charitra in Petikapuram. Later, in the middle plane, Purusha and Prakriti are equal. In this state, some non-believers and people causing troubles were there. Similarly, there were people who recognized him as Avatar after having different experiences and gaining confidence. At the stage of leaving Petikapuram, Maya remained merged in him. He very clearly declared that he was Parabrahma Swarupa and then expressed his divine Leelas of the Avatar extensively. For that, the situation in Petikapuram was not convenient, so he left Petikapuram. When his greatness spreads throughout the world, sometime in some centuries, the people of Petikapuram also will have Gnanodayam according to his will. His divine Chaitanyam, in its completely expressed state, will remove both the lameness of human Chaitanyam and the blindness of Prakriti. When I asked in what circumstances Shripada left Petikapuram, Bhaskara Shastri said, Shripada's Leelas cannot be comprehended by common man's mind. Once, one sannyasi came to Kukkuteshwara temple. He was a Datta devotee. He used to give Datta Diksha to people. He announced that mind's desires would be fulfilled if Datta Diksha was completed successfully for 40 days. The Petikapuram Brahmin community also took up Datta Diksha. He was receiving great amount of Dakshina. A part of the Dakshina was being given to the Brahmins taking Diksha from him. The Brahmins were telling to the people of other castes that they had also taken up Datta Diksha and were giving good Dakshina to the sannyasi. And so they could also take up Diksha and give Dakshina and get their lives fulfilled. Not able to ignore the words of Brahmins, many people took Diksha and were giving good amount as Dakshina. Meanwhile, discussion started whether to take Diksha or not. Combined meeting of Brahmin Parishad, Kshatriya Parishad and Vaishya Parishad was conducted. Sri Bapanarya was in the chair as chairman. Sri Bapanarya said, Sri Datta belongs to everybody. Anybody can take Diksha. So all people belonging to 18 Varnas can take Datta Diksha from the sannyasi. The opportunity of taking Diksha should be given to all people. The majority people in the Brahmin Parishad said, Sir, Brahmins, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas follow austerities, so they can take up the Diksha. Shudras are anacharis, do not follow austerities, so they should not take up Diksha. Taking Dakshina from them, we can uplift them with our power of tapas. Bapanarya said, every caste has people following austerities as well as people not following austerities. It is difficult to decide who follow austerities and who do not. So keeping the community welfare in mind, we can do Datta Homam or other yagnas and yagas and cause welfare for the whole society. I feel that taking Dakshina and denying them Dikshas looks like discrimination against them. If we can uplift Shudras with our Tapas Shakti taking Dakshina, we can uplift other Brahmins, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas also. In that case, special Dikshas are not necessary for any caste people. Moreover, the amount decided as Dakshina is very high. There are poor people in all castes. They cannot give this much amount. The poor people, after giving Dakshina to us, will have to starve many days. Dakshina should be made voluntary. Only amount given happily should be taken as Dakshina. Then only Datta will be pleased. Thus, he explained his view. Those Brahmins raised a ridicule. Being Brahmins, when Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Mahashaya has come to our village, we have not given him a welcome with Purna Kumbham and Veda Mantras. Moreover, when he himself is giving Datta Mandala Diksha for the welfare of all people, Brahmin Parishad has remained quite unconcerned. It is very shameful. Then Bapanarya said, if he is really a Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Mahashaya, there are certain methods to be followed to welcome him. A few days before his arrival, he should send word to the Brahmin Parishad through his main disciples. Parishad will listen to them and discuss Shastras with them. In that, the skill of those disciples will be known. The Parishad will take a decision and decide that they are the disciples of an able Parivrajaka. Later, when Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Acharya arrives, he will be given welcome with Veda Mantras and Purnakumbham. After that, discussions will take place on Shastras. Then, on the suggestion of Parivrajaka Mahashay, Yagnam, Yagam, Diksha or Pravachanam can be done. Without any of these things, Parivrajaka came to Kukuteshwara temple. Immediately he discussed with you about Datta Mandala Diksha. Moreover, he asked for liberal donations. Is it not contrary to our rules? The Brahmins asked. This is not the time to discuss whether rules were floated or not. Will you and your son-in-law Appalaraju Sharma take the Diksha or not? Bapanarya said, we both will take up Diksha only for the welfare of the society but not for personal welfare. Because we are not taking up Dikshas, we cannot give Dakshinas. If anyone in the Brahmins want to take up Dikshas and are ready to give Dakshinas, they can do so according to their will. Brahmin Parishad will think about the things related to common problems and common good, but not about the individual Dikshas, individual problems and solutions. Sreshti and Varma also declined to take up Mandala Diksha. But Brahmins, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas were given freedom to take up Datta Mandala Diksha or to decline. Shripada gives Datta Diksha. There were some farmers devoted to Shripada. Venkaya was chief among them. Shripada went to Venkaya's house. He declared that he would give Datta Dikshas and no one should be disappointed that they were unable to take up Dikshas. Moreover, he announced that Dakshina could be given according to their willingness. He also announced that Diksha was not necessary for 40 days and only one night Diksha was enough in his case. For one complete day and night, Shripada stayed in Venkaya's house. Shripada gave Diksha for the people of all the 18 Varnas. Among those who took Diksha from him were some Brahmins, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas also. Shripada declares himself Datta. Shripada came out openly as Shri Datta on that day only. That day happened to be Thursday, which was very dear to Datta Prabhu. He gave his auspicious blessings to all people whom he gave Diksha and made them do bhajana. He declared that he himself was Shri Datta, his vast program was waiting for him, and if he was remembered, he would be pleased and fulfill the desires of his devotees. Later, on Friday morning, Shripada went to Narasimha Varma's house. He was given Mangala Snanam or auspicious bath there. He accepted only one banana. He gave it to the Gomata present there. Later, he came to Venkatapaya Shreshti. There also Mangala Snanam was performed to him. Shripada took buttermilk, butter and cream from their house. He told them that his devotees were calling him and time had come to leave Petikapuram. Later, he came to his grandfather Papanarya's house. He had Mangala Snanam there also. He told them that he was indeed Datta. The Shripada Sri Vallabha form was only an illusory form and people affected by snakes and people tormented by mental and physical diseases were calling him. He had to declare clearly that he was Datta and start the program of uplifting the world through his divine Leelas. Later, he came to his house. When parents brought the subject of his marriage, Shripada said humbly, Mata, already I gave darshan along with Anagha Lakshmi to grandfather, Shreshti Tata and Varma Tata. Many people saw us couple playing in Shreshti's fields, Varma's fields and mango gardens. Look, this is my form of Anagha with Anagha Lakshmi. See my divine auspicious form. I told you when I came as Avadhuta that I would leave the house when the matter of my marriage came for discussion. After giving his auspicious darshan, he touched both his brothers. By the nectarine looks of Shripada, both his brothers' lameness and blindness disappeared. Sumati Maharani and Appalaraju Sharma stood like statues. They could not say anything. Meanwhile, his grandmother Rajamamba, grandfather Bapanarya, Venkatapaya Shreshti, his Dharmapatni Venkatasubbamma, Narasimha Varma and his Dharmapatni Amma Jamma also came there. He talked to all of them happily, smiling and with fun. Sumati Maharani said, My dear, though you are saying that you are leaving, clearing all debts, you cannot repay the milk debt of Venkatapaya Shrishti, Vatsavayi and Malladi families. Sripada said, Amma, I cannot deny your words. As long as the descendants of these three families do not forget me, I will not forget them. Even if they forget, I will remind them. Even by torturing, I will take their service and give the result. In your Malladi family, where you were born, I will take food in any one of their houses in every generation. But I will not take Dakshina. I know that they will treat me affectionately as their nephew. I will also respect that human relation and behave accordingly. What else do they need? He addressed his father and said, Vedam will remain in our Gandikota family. Both my brothers will become good Veda Pandits. As long as Gandikota family will not forget me, I will not forget them. Sridhara Sharma will be born in one Janma as Samartha Ramadas and will become Guru to Narasimha Varma, who would come to birth as Chhatrapati Shivaji. In this way, the bond of our Paurohityam will be confirmed. Ramaraju Sharma will be born as Sridhara and will become a great yogi. Mahasamsthanam on my name will be established in Petikapuram by the disciples of Sridhara. Our dead relation with Venkatapaya Shrishti will also be established. Moreover, Vatsavayi people also will come. Thus he assured. Savitrapannam was chanted. Vedam was very dear to Sripada. While Vedapatanam was going on, he disappeared when all of them were looking. Victory to Sripada Srivallabha, Sripada Rajam Sharanam Prapadhye.